of unnamed shadowy officials that the operation to take down Michael Flynn came from.
Overall, the impression the reporting in the New York Times gives you is that the Obama team had evidence, and they wanted to make sure as many people in Washington saw it as possible before they were out of power, essentially, and they wanted to preserve the record.
Right.
Now, why would that be?
So the Obama folks will tell you we had a presidential candidate who won an election that the Russians had hacked and tried to influence, and was constantly denying that the Russians had done this, and was saying incredibly friendly things about Vladimir Putin. So they found all that very alarming, and they worried that information would be ignored or perhaps even destroyed. Now, to me, one takeaway I have from this is if all this intelligence was disseminated as widely as this story suggests, if there was really a smoking gun, and a smoking gun in this context is like direct coordination between Trump and his inner circle and Russian intelligence on the hacking, we would probably know about it. And what we have at the moment is a lot of smoke, but nothing that's that explicit.
So we went back this morning, Rich, to find out when President Obama talked about either the Russian hacking or the implication that Trump campaign officials were involved with the Russians. It wasn't hard to find. November 17th, Angela Merkel, December 12th, December 16th, twice on December 16th, another time on January 8th. That's just what we found today. In one form or another, he referred to the Russian hacking or the Trump campaign team in these comments. So you get the idea that they were trying to plant this seed.
Right.
Now, can you prove that, or is that just the suggestion that comes?
Well, we can all agree that that's the fact pattern. The Obama people will say, as was reported in this New York Times story, as more and more intelligence came in, we were more and more alarmed, and we more and more wanted to get the word out to the public. The Trump folks will say, oh, you know what happened and what changed? They lost an election. And they were outraged that they lost an election, and they wanted to undermine the legitimacy of the incoming president.
To emphasize now in the Times piece, they're not saying that President Obama was behind this.
Right.
But they are saying that the officials that worked under his administration were.
Correct.
And some of those officials might still be working in powerful positions in Washington today under the Trump team. They are.
Right.
Which leads us to this comment. Eric Holder just from yesterday in Politico on Barack Obama. It's coming, he's coming, and he's ready to roll. My suggestion from that is that he's about to go public and fight back in an active role in Washington, D.C. What do you take?
Yeah, it's a little bit of an opaque statement, but that would be the natural interpretation, I think. And again, the Trump people would take from it, okay, there's this shadow war been going on against the Trump administration. Now we'll see it coming really into the open with the former president of the United States engaging.
I know you've been following the Jeff Sessions story so far today when you heard Kevin McCarthy and you heard Jason Chaffetz suggesting he should recuse himself. What do you think is happening there?
I think the political pressure for him to recuse himself will be irresistible. I think perhaps this story is overplayed. One of the so-called meetings with the Russian ambassador was a group of various ambassadors and seems like a handshake. I think Sessions in his mind thinks, I meet with ambassadors all the time. There's nothing extraordinary or remarkable about that, but I'm sure he wishes he was more complete in his testimony. And what Democrats want is a special prosecutor. Because even if a scandal doesn't lead to anything, if you get a special prosecutor, it takes time and energy from administration, and a special prosecutor always finds something to prosecute someone.
Which means it drags on.
Correct.
And it's a drag on the goals of the Trump administration.
Yes, but the Sessions story materially advances the Democratic goal of getting a special prosecutor.